Welcome to everyone. We are really thrilled and excited and a little bit scared to be embarking on this Passover Seder in this really unusual moment and by this brand new medium for us. But thank you for taking to it so well and to joining us. And one of the things that's truly special about this Seder, why is this Seder night different from all other nights, is that the reach of this Seder is actually far beyond what we would normally be able to achieve, certainly around our dining room tables, even in a beautifully appointed ballroom for a community Seder. This is a Seder that is reaching coast to coast and generation to generation. And so I have a few notes just about Zoom and about this space that we're in before we get into the real subject of our Seder tonight. So the first is notice that you right now are muted, which means that you can hear me, but we can't all hear you, and that's just to kind of keep the peace with a grouping this large. One of the things you can do, though, at the bottom of your screen, you have the option. It says chat. There's like a little speech bubble, and you in that chat bubble, if next to the two, if it says everyone, you can type things in there, and everyone will be able to see them. For example, I said, hello, everyone. And so you may be able to find that in the chat box. And so if you'd like to say things or add things, ask questions, throw out comments during the Seder, the chat box is a wonderful place to do that. Another option that you should see at the bottom of your screen is a closed captioning box. So in a little square that says CC, we have arranged to have the Seder this evening captioned live by someone who is typing as we go. This is a real accessibility issue and improvement that we hope will be a benefit to many of you. And so if you click on that closed captioning button, you will have the option either to see the entire transcript of the Seder so far in a separate box, or just to have the captions on the bottom of your screen like you normally would with closed captioning turned on. Another option, for those of you who are even a little bit more sophisticated with all of this, I just put into the chat a link. You can't click on it, unfortunately, but you can copy and paste it. Our captions are also being live streamed to a website called Stream Text, which will show you the captions of the service with lots of different options. And so even if you want to have the Seder up on your computer, but you want to have the captions going on your phone or anything like that, you can use that Stream Text link that I just put in the chat. Is everyone seeing those things? Nod if you're good. Yes, okay, good. I think the other thing that I wanted to mention just as we start, maybe those of you who are less familiar with Zoom, there are different ways that you can make your screen appear that are under your control. So at the top of your screen, if you're seeing lots of little boxes right now with lots of people in them, at the top of your screen, you can click on what's called speaker view. And if you do that, you'll see a bigger screen, primarily with the person who's talking. And so if you want to focus your screen or more of your screen on the person who's talking, speaker view is a good way to do it. Or you can click on gallery view, which will give you as many little boxes, as many little squares as fit on your screen. Okay, is that working for everyone? Okay. If for whatever reason you have trouble during the Seder, when I sent an email a couple of hours ago, and it said that you can call 201-661-4183 for help. And that's not some magic tech support line that we hired. That's Bonnie. So hi, Bonnie, and thank you. And I'm gonna put that in the chat as well. And so if you are having trouble doing any of the things that I just talked about, you can give Bonnie a call and she will help you. With that, I think those are all of the preliminaries. Well, it's strange for us not to be able to start with greeting each other and welcoming each other. So we're going to try to do some version of that. In a moment, I am going to send you to breakout groups in Zoom. It's going to put you in groups of 4-ish, right? So hold on, 130 participants. How many rooms? Let's put you into, I don't know, 20 rooms. Is that right? I didn't know there would be any math involved. Let's do 25 rooms. And once you go into your room, I'm going to ask that that you introduce yourself, that you tell people who you are and where you're zooming in from, that you wish them a Chag Sameach, and sort of get to know a little bit some of the people who we're going to be sharing this Seder with. So I am doing that now, and you should be getting the option to enter your breakout room. So when you see that option, let's try to do that. And if you're still some of you are still here with me, and that's fine. All right. So, Rabbi, this is the room of those who have not joined any other breakout rooms.
Breakout room, right? That's right.
We have the second device of some people, who I think maybe probably joined on their primary device. We have
some other folks who are with us. Oh,
Roy,
nice.
I see you there at your table. Chag Sameach.
Okay, everyone is there. Rabbi Noah, Lloyd mentioned that on the iPad, the icons are on the top right as opposed to the bottom left.
Okay.
He's busy conducting from his laptop in the other room.
One place or another.
So hopefully people are off introducing themselves to each other. This is the shake hands. Susanna, I can send you. Do you want me to send you to one of the breakout rooms, or do you want to stay here?
Looking for my mom.
Yes. So Mike, so let me see. Maybe I can assign you to the one that she's in. That might be above my skill level. Wait. Up. I found. All right. So hold on. Yeah. Assign. Wait. So Mike, how do I send you?
Hey, Nina and Fred, we've headed out to breakout rooms to say Chag Sameach to everybody. These are the folks who haven't gone off to the breakout rooms in smaller groups. Nina, you have to unmute if you want to be heard. Or I can unmute you. There we go. Hi, Nina.
I know we got thrown off. We had a
Zoom crashed on us.
yeah.
Ah,
We had to resume. Sorry, punishing.
frozen again. Or maybe it's just me.
Hag Sameach, everybody.
Sameach.
Chag Sameach. This is where we are our own breakout room. That's okay.
Absolutely.
So as people, so I see some people are coming in, some people have come back. I'm gonna close the rooms. So I've given people 60 seconds. They get a warning before their breakout rooms close, and then everyone will be back. Will be back with us. So everyone, people are coming back in. It's good to see you. And well, they only have 30 seconds to come back before everyone is automatically brought back into our main space here. Okay, welcome back, everyone. It's good to see you. Were you now? Did that work approximately? Were you able to talk to each other and greet at least some of the people who are joining us around this wonderfully large table? Good. I'm glad. This Seder, this Passover, is all about collapsing distance. Seders are so precious to us. They're special to us because of all of the wonderful rituals that we will partake in very shortly, but also because of the collection of people. Seders are, for us as Jews, the paradigmatic family event. And as I look through these boxes and I see parents and children and grandparents and some great-grandparents, just joining us here in this room from different parts of the country, and even a couple from different parts of the world. There's something really special and powerful about our ability to gather this way. And so whatever your Seder looks like in your particular space where you physically are, as Rabbi Witzer said earlier, we're sharing this table, we're sharing this Seder together. So if you don't have every single ritual item or object, don't worry. Someone in one of these squares has the symbol, and we're gonna do all of this celebrating together. And so we put ourselves in the mindset of the Seder, openness and curiosity, attuned to the dynamics of slavery and freedom, and prepared to sing together. And so when we sing together and when we read together, we do want you to sing out loud. So even though we're on mute and we can't all hear each other, we will see your mouths moving, right? We will know that we are participating together even as we are listening to Cantor Sarah. And so the other thing that's very important for this Seder is that most of our Haggadah will be displayed to you like this, as a shared screen. And so this is where you will find the words and the prayers and everything you need. Now, when in this view, you should be still seeing a small box of squares of people's faces. And at the top of that box, you have some options on how you want that to appear. And so you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller if you'd like to see more of those squares on your screen at a time. So I'm gonna move us forward as we begin our Seder, and let's join together in singing Hine Ma Tov.
Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
If you have candles nearby, we're going to prepare then to light our festival candles. If someone is near you, my family is assembling here as well from their other screens. And together we will kindle the festival lights and join in our blessing. Let's go ahead and light now. We join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Shel Yom Tov. And from blessing our festival lights, we have the opportunity as well to bless one another. Traditionally, at this moment, we would bless children. So if you have a child near you, you can bring them close. Or if you have someone else near you, you can bring them close. Or you can reach out through our screens to bless one another. And together we say these words. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God's light shine on you, and may God be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's presence be with you always, and may you find peace. Festival kisses for those who are near. Okay, we're ready to move into the next section of our Seder. I'm going to get my cup of wine. If you would grab a wine cup as well, or juice, and let's get those filled. Over the course of our Seder, we know there are 4 cups of wine. We're taught by our rabbis that this represents the 4 different times in the book of Exodus that God makes promises to the Israelites, 4 times, 4 promises of redemptions, each one joyfully represented with the fruit of the vine. As we go through our Seder this evening, we'll see for each one of those 4 cups of wine the opportunity to remember one of those times that God promised us redemption. So if we are ready with a first cup of wine, we'll invite Cantor Sarah to lead us in the beautiful festival Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'am v'romemanu mikol hashon v'kidshanu b'mitzvotav. Next slide. V'titen lanu Adonai Eloheinu b'yahava moadim l'simcha chagim uzmanim l'sasom et yom chag hamatzot hazeh zman chirutenu mikra kodesh zecher l'tziad mitzrayim Kivanu v'charta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim moadeh kodeshecha b'simcha u'b'sason hinchaltanu baruch ata Adonai mekadesh Yisrael v'hazmanim Amen. And together we give thanks. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'hinyanu lazman hazeh. Amen.
As we drink our first cup of wine, we're going to come now into a moment of starting with the different elements on our Seder plates. If you have a Seder plate, and there is a way to either bring the Seder plate to the camera or the camera to the Seder plate, in whichever way creates less mess and potential for spilling. But we'd love to see all of our squares, many of our squares filled up with pictures of our Seder plates. So if you have a Seder plate, let's see, and we'll scroll through all of them. We can find a Seder plate here and one there, very nice that everybody has. You know, this really is an opportunity. Again, if you don't have a Seder plate at home, look at all of these. We are all welcoming you to join with us. Look at the array and the variety of them, all different shapes and sizes, all different kinds, much like our families are all different shapes and sizes, and yet they all have that same purpose, that opportunity for us to be together in celebration of Passover tonight. The first item on the Seder plate that we are going to get to use is our karpas, our green vegetable. So if you would, on your Seder plate, put the Seder plates back down and pick up from there, get ready to pick up from there a piece of karpas. For some, it is parsley or whatever other green vegetable that you might have on there. Great. And Rabbi Noah, if you will take us to the reading and the blessing there. Tonight we praise God once again for creating the fruit of the earth symbolized by karpas, the green vegetables on our table. The first growth of spring, karpas represents rebirth and renewal. In the spirit of Passover, before we eat, we dip the karpas in salt water. We do this to remind ourselves of the tears shed by our ancestors when we were slaves in Egypt. We take our parsley, we dip it into the salt water, and then we say together, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri ha'adamah. Blessed are you, eternal, our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the earth. Thank you, God. There are other items on our Seder plate. During the course of our Seder, we'll get a chance to see all of them. How many of you have an egg on your Seder plate? If you have an egg on the Seder plate, would you hold that up? Roasted of one kind or another. You know, eggs are always a symbol of life, a symbol of spring, a symbol of renewal, much like the karpas, of the cycle of the seasons, the cycle of the year, and the cycle of life has a place on our Seder plate. We also have matzah on our Seder plates. We'll have a chance to learn a little more about matzah in just a couple of moments, but the bread of affliction, the bread that did not have time to rise, matzah also has an honored place on our Seder plate. As a matter of fact, we begin with our next reading with our sense of matzah. If some people will have a matzah holder that has 3 different matzot in them. And what I'll ask you to do is to take the middle matzah out from your matzah holder. Ours is a family heirloom. We take the middle matzah, and now we break the middle matzah in half. The larger piece is called the afikomen. After the meal, the young people at our Seder table might hunt for it and return it, possibly for a reward, so that the Seder might be completed. The search for the afikomen reminds us that it is the memory of freedoms that have been lost that inspire each generation to continue the pursuit of liberty, tolerance, and justice. And now, let's all, as we hold up our afikomen, each in our own home, let's join together in this traditional reading. This is the bread of affliction that our ancestors ate in the land of Egypt. All who are hungry, let them come and eat. All who are in need, let them come celebrate Passover with us. May it be God's will to redeem us from all trouble and all servitude. Next year at this season, may the whole house of Israel and all peoples be free and out of quarantine, we might add at that moment as well. But the matzah, our afikomen, our representation, we put it in, perhaps you have an afikomen cover or an afikomen bag to be able to use, and that gets hidden away for some later point in our service.
This is the point in our service where we come to the 4 questions, and the 4 questions are one of those moments in the service that are really indelible and unmistakable. And I think that's especially because we know they involve our children. It is customary for the youngest person at the Seder who is able to lead the 4 questions to lead them. And so this was one area in which we didn't think that Rabbi David or Cantor or I should lead the 4 questions. And so we have assembled a group who I am calling the 4 Questions All-Stars. You're going to meet them one by one in a moment. I recommend you may want to switch to speaker view if you know how to do such a thing. And that way you'll be able to see our all-stars one by one as they come up. And our first 4 questions all-star is Lila Goldstein. And so Lila, can we hear you?
Do I read?
There you are. There you are.
So shall I start?
Okay, I think whenever you're ready, you're going to start us off.
Okay. Manishana halayla hazeh Niko halaylo Niko halaylo Shebekol halaylo Aniro Queen Kamei Sumatsa Kamei Sumatsa Halayla hazeh Halayla hazeh Hugo Matsa Halayla hazeh Hugo Matsa.
Awesome! You can wave your fingers, Lila. That was amazing. The hair is amazing. Thank you, Gompertz Goldstein family. For our second question, we are going to turn to the Miller family. And Alexa and Dana, can we hear you? There you are. Okay, you're on. Beautiful. Thank you, guys. Great work. Thank you. Thank you, Millers. Great job. We're going to throw it over. We're going to go to the Stern family. Anna and Charlie, can we hear you?
Hi. Hello.
Okay, we're ready.
Shebeho halelo ein anu makili afilu pamecha halayla hazeh shetei be'amin halayla hazeh shetei be'amin.
Beautiful. Wonderful job. Thank you, guys. It's great to see you. Beautiful table. Okay, 3 questions down. Our 4th question, we're going to the Bloomkeys. Grace, Eli, and Charlotte. Can we hear you?
Yes, hi.
Hi, we see you. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful. Oh, thank you, guys. Great job. I just had an emergency tissue delivery. I don't know if the open weeping is just me or if that's happening in your houses too. Thank you, families, so much. Those are beautiful questions. Now, of course, the 4 questions, those questions, why do we eat matzah, and why do we eat bitter herbs, and why do we dip foods in other foods, and why do we recline? You know, those questions were only meant to be examples. Because really, the Seder was supposed to be all about asking questions and thinking about questions. And one of the things that I did before the Seder was I sent around a sheet to ask you if anybody wanted to color it and to add some questions to our Seder. And so here are some questions that came from the Magnus family, along with the beautiful coloring, right? Why does the youngest child ask the 4 questions? Is going to temple required for Passover? And if so, is it okay that we can't go? Oh, the answer to that one, thankfully, is yes. Do we need to be with family on Passover, or is it okay that we are only with the people in our house? Yeah, it is okay. It's more than okay. In fact, to keep people healthy and to keep people safe, it's required of us as Jews that we stay in our houses. Keeping people healthy is always the most important thing. And if we were to add something to the Seder plate to express our gratitude to the doctors and nurses, would it have to be edible? That's a great question. I'll say the shank bone is on the Seder plate, and the shank bone is not edible. So I think I'm going to say it wouldn't have to be edible, but I don't know, maybe someone out there has an idea about what we could put on the Seder plate to express our gratitude to the doctors and nurses, the healthcare workers, and the essential workers who are helping us to exist through this period. And so if you have an idea about that, maybe you could put that in the chat. What could we put on the Seder plate that could symbolize our gratitude to our healthcare workers? We had another one. Why do we wash our hands? Why do we dip utensils into wine? How will this night be different without our families here with us? And why does the youngest child ask the 4 questions? Magnus's, These are terrific, terrific questions, and I'm going to do the worst possible thing, which is I'm going to ask those questions, but I'm not going to answer them, at least not yet. Instead, I'm going to ask that you, all of you, share some thoughts in the chat. So, what I think you could answer some of the Magnus's questions, or you could add some of your own questions. This is a night of many questions. I see a lot of people saying a mask, gummy hearts, a seed, a Band-Aid. These are really great ideas that are coming through in the chat from all of you. So thank you. So keep it up. Keep putting answers in the chat if you can. If you're at a computer typing, maybe you can even think of some more questions to add to our Seder. Well, the Seder always comes in fours, and so we have 4 cups of wine, Rabbi taught us. We had 4 questions, and the next 4 is the 4 children. And I suspect that you have met those 4 children before, the 4 children of the Seder. They are, I have to go back one. They are the wise child, the wicked child, the simple child, and the one who doesn't know how to ask. I'm not entirely sure which of those is which. In this picture, I assume the one with the Torah and the Yad is the wise child. But of course, those 4 children were never really meant to be different people. We are all, each of us, sometimes the wise child, or the wicked, the rebellious child, or the simple, the uninformed child, or even the child who doesn't know where to start and doesn't know how to ask. And I think facing our present moment and the challenges of this pandemic and these weeks, I sometimes feel like the wise child, and sometimes wicked, and sometimes simple, and sometimes like I don't even know what to ask or where to start. So let's try something new. In a moment, you're going to see on your screen a question that asks you, which of the 4 children do you identify with the most? Or maybe just even right now in this moment. So if you're close to your screen and you're able to click on an answer, you don't have to. But if you can, let's see which child people are really feeling close to so far. All right, are you seeing that on your screens? No, not yet. Let's give it a minute. Let's see if it comes up. It's telling me that you're going to see it. No, not yet. Maybe it's because there are a lot of us. It's taking longer than it sometimes does. I'll give it another second and then I will quit. See it? Yes? No? 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 Okay, that didn't work. Look, that should be our biggest problem. If that's the only thing that doesn't work, I'll call the Seder a success. Okay. Let's return now then, after our 4s, after the 4 cups and the 4 questions and the 4 children, then we get into the telling in earnest. So let's go to that part of our Seder. A new Pharaoh arose over Egypt who did not know Joseph or the contributions that he and his household had made to Egyptian society over the generations. And Pharaoh said, "The people of the children of Israel are too many and too mighty for us." Our ancestors were then forcibly enslaved. The Egyptians set over them taskmasters to afflict them with burdens and to build for Egyptian leaders royal cities and monuments. God heard the cries of our ancestors in bondage in Egypt. And one day, while Moses was tending Jethro's flock, God appeared to Moses through a burning bush, a bush that burned but miraculously was not consumed. God commanded Moses to return to Egypt and to tell Pharaoh to free the Israelites from slavery and oppression. And here again, we're going to turn to singing. And so I want everyone to sing, even though we'll just be listening to the cantor.
When Israel was in Egypt land, let my people go. Oppressed so hard they could not stand, let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. No more shall they in bondage toil, let my people go. Let them come out with Egypt's spoil. Let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell, O Pharaoh, let my people go. When people stop this slavery, let my people go. Soon may all the earth be free. Let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell, O Pharaoh, let my people go.
Though our ancestors were redeemed from slavery, and we ourselves have rejoiced to see the oppressors overcome, our joys and triumphs are diminished by the suffering of others. Even as God saved us, God taught us not to rejoice in the suffering of other people. As the sea closed over the pursuing Egyptians, God declared, "My creatures are drowning, and you are singing." And that midrash is always an important reminder to me as we prepare to recite the plagues, that the plagues are not meant to be a happy moment in our Seder. I think sometimes, plagues, we have toys, we have toy frogs, we have plague bags, we have masks. I think somehow the plagues became a moment in the Seder for sort of playing and levity, maybe because there are animals involved. But I think when reading the Seder, you see that it's not really meant to be that way, that in fact, the plagues are meant to be a tragedy that's what it took, that suffering was required in order to achieve freedom for our ancestors, for the Israelites. And the rabbis here have a reminder that we are forbidden to rejoice in the suffering of any person. That we're commanded to empathize with the Egyptians. I think, in this particular year, preparing for this Passover, many people have spoken of this pandemic as a plague, as an 11th plague, like the plagues in Egypt. And personally, I think there are important differences. I worry that if we talk about what we're experiencing now as a plague, it opens the door to the idea that this comes for a reason. Because the plagues in Egypt had a reason. The plagues in Egypt were God trying to achieve something, bringing the Israelites to freedom. I don't want any of us to think, and I doubt that any of you would say, although we hear this in our environment, we hear people saying that, oh, this has a reason, or this is teaching us something, or this comes about because of someone or some group of people, and assigning blame. And I think our midrash, our tradition, really cautions us against that kind of thinking, but rather to respond to a moment like this, to respond to the suffering of others with deep compassion and empathy. And that, of course, is the origin of our tradition of pouring a drop of wine out of our cup for each one of the plagues. If wine is our symbol of joy, then our joy is literally diminished drop by drop as we recall the suffering of the Egyptians, even though they were bad, even though they were guilty and our oppressors, still we sorrow for their suffering. So if you have a wine glass that you would like to pour drops from as we recite these plagues, I invite you to grab it. We pour 10 drops for the plagues upon Egypt. Dam, blood. Tzvardea, frogs. Kinim, lice. Arov, wild beasts. Dever, blight. Shechin, boils. Barad, hail. Arbe, locusts. Choshech, darkness. Makat bechorot, the slaying of the firstborn. But of course, the plagues, this moment, gave way to rejoicing, not at the suffering of the Egyptians, but at the sudden advent of freedom. And so in our Haggadah, we come now to Michamocha, to the song of the sea, and we recall that moment when finally free, our ancestors crossed between the two walls of water.
Standing at the sea, Michamocha, standing at the sea, Michamocha, standing at the sea, Michamocha, freedom is on our way. Walking through the water, Michamocha, walking through the water, Michamocha, walking through the water, Michamocha, freedom is on our way. Freedom, freedom, freedom. Freedom, freedom, freedom is on our way. Singing and dancing, Michamocha, singing and dancing, Michamocha, singing and dancing, Michamocha, freedom is on our way. Freedom, 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 freedom is on our way.
Hi Emma. We can't mute that. It's coming from inside the house. Nor would we want to. This is the moment when we might hold up a Miriam's cup on our Seder table. Does anybody have a Miriam's cup on their Seder table? We just recalled that moment of walking through the parted Red Sea. Miriam is associated in our Exodus story always with water. I see some excellent Miriam's cups. And one thing you can see, Jane Silver's is clear, so you can see it. It has water in it, not wine, because Miriam is associated with water. When Moses was put in the basket on the Nile River, Miriam was there watching, keeping Moses safe. And when the Israelites crossed the Red Sea, Miriam was there leading the women in singing and dancing. And then when the Israelites were wandering in the wilderness for 40 years, Miriam was the one who brought the magical well that provided water for all of the Israelites during the years of their wanderings. And so in honor of Miriam, we have the custom of placing a cup, a special cup. I see Rabbi Widzer says Miriam on it. That's convenient. That's how you know it's an official Miriam's cup. And we place that as a remembrance of the important role that Miriam plays in our story of redemption. We continue now and go back to singing. We have arrived, right? All of that at the Seder, it would have been enough. And in Hebrew, when we say it would have been enough, we sing Dayenu.
Ilu hotzianu mi Mitzrayim, hotzianu mi Mitzrayim, dayenu, 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 dayenu. Ilu natan lanu et hashabat natan lanu et hashabat dayenu, 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 dayenu.
Rabban Gamliel, one of Judaism's great scholars, taught that if you don't, there goes my reading. Rabban Gamliel, it's okay, I can do it.
I'm just upping the difficulty level a little bit.
That's just how I can handle this one. Rabban Gamliel, back in the first century, taught that in order to really fulfill the mitzvah of the Seder, you needed to make sure that everybody understood some of the elements that are on the Seder plate. The first is the Pesach. Oh, I'm going to hold this up so that you can see this. The shank bone. Everyone hold up a shank bone or point to the shank bone if it's on your Seder plate, or if you don't have one on your Seder plate, point to someone's on the screen that's on the Seder plate. The shank bone represented the sacrifices, the offerings that were made, and in particular, on last night, the night of watching, the Paschal lamb that was offered, the blood on the doorpost of the angel of death would pass over us, and that lamb that was eaten by the Israelites and their family. Next, matzah. We need a piece of matzah. Hold up a piece of matzah. Like we said, the bread of affliction, the poor person's bread, baked not in time enough for it to rise, to be leavened, but rather the flat bread to remind us of the haste with which we left out from Egypt. And then Rabban Gamliel said Pesach, matzah, and maror. I don't have a big horseradish root, but some people might have that. We have, thank you for the bottled horseradish on our Seder plate right here. But if you have a horseradish root, would you hold that up as well? And that, of course, we know the bitterness of the herbs, whether it is that or it may be romaine lettuce, endive, other things, all kinds of creative things that we've had, just represent the bitterness of slavery. Rabban Gamliel says we need to learn about all of these things on our Seder plate and more. And having fulfilled that, we're able to continue on now with our Seder.
Thank you. I'm sorry about taking the reading out from under you. We are now, here are our things. There's that Pesach, the matzah, and the bitter lettuce. But now we are ready to drink the second cup. So this is a good time if you don't have any wine or juice in your cup, whatever you happen to be drinking, this is a good time to refill. We drink the second cup of wine to celebrate the survival of the Jewish people. We remember how, enslaved in Egypt, we retained our belief in God, our faith and hope for the future, gave us the will to survive, and ultimately, the strength to pursue the freedom promised by God. And we lift up our cups, we bless and we say, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. L'chaim. This is as we are just about to get to the eating of our foods, this is the place in the Seder where we have hand washing. And I will admit to you, we normally skip this part of the Seder because hand washing at the ritual meal is kind of associated with ritual purity and impurity and some of these concepts that maybe don't always resonate with us as Reformed Jews. But this year, boy, do they, right? Never have we been more focused with intention on our hand washing. Never have I sung Happy Birthday so many times, day after day after day, as I have while washing my hands and the hands of my children. But this is a good opportunity for us to rediscover this moment in the Seder, which is about protecting ourselves, not only from real physical dangers, but just creating a spiritual boundary, a safe place for ourselves, in ourselves and in our Passover table. And so I do think it's worth it for us in this particular year to join in the blessing for the washing of hands, whether or not you're able to get up right now and wash. You can do that, but even if you're not washing your hands right at this moment, we can still say together, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim. Blessed are you, eternal our God, sovereign of the universe, who has sanctified us with your commandments and has commanded us literally to lift up our hands. Right, and so while washing, we're taught washing our hands elevates them in a certain way. Elevates us. I see that. Hi, Brights. Thanks. I like that. Like the hands. I like the hands in the air for that. Rabbi?
Having washed our hands and fulfilled that part of our responsibility, we now come to the next part of our eating. We'll say two blessings. First, the blessing that we usually say when we eat food that has within it grains or wheat, bread that came out from the earth, the motzi. And then second, in quick succession, we'll say a blessing in particular over the eating of matzah. So if you'll take a piece of matzah, a large size, a small size, whatever size you may want, and with our clean hands and pure hearts, as the psalmist says, with these matzah together we say these words: Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who brings forth bread from the earth. And Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu al achilat matzah. Next year, we'll have a crunching contest for who can make the loudest crunch with their matzah. After we've blessed our matzah, our motzi, and matzah, we prepare to eat maror, the bitter herbs. And as we know, it's customary to dip the bitter herbs into the sweet charoset, but not enough to take away from the bitterness. We're supposed to still be able to feel the sting of the maror. In doing so, we fulfill the second dipping referred to in the 4 questions. But interesting fact, if you are reclining, as we are supposed to do by the 4th question, when you eat the maror, you don't actually recline. You sit a little more upright because of the bitterness of slavery and the force there. So if you have a piece of horseradish, or if it's a little more liquid in form or less concrete, a little bit on a piece of matzah is just fine as well.
Mine is mustard. I don't know if anyone else is using Dijon mustard. That's what we found that was bitter.
A little bit of bitterness. Together, the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu al achilat maror. I hope yours is good. I had, in my first pulpit in Boston, at a congregant who made their own horseradish. Does anybody else make their own horseradish? Raise a hand if you make your own horseradish. And every year, twice a year at Rosh Hashanah and at Passover, she would deliver to each of the clergy a big bottle of homemade horseradish. It was excellent, excellent stuff. The last piece of our ritual here, there actually, I don't think is even a slide for it, but it became a tradition over the years to eat the charoset and the maror together. Rabbi Hillel commanded that we eat the sweetness of freedom, reminded of the bitterness of slavery, and you can take a piece of matzah and another piece of matzah, put a little bit of maror on it, a little bit of charoset on it, and you make the world's messiest sandwich, a Hillel sandwich, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, the bitterness of slavery, but remembered, always tempered by the sweetness of the hope for freedom, and a Hillel sandwich.
With that, we have completed all of the rituals of the first part of the Seder. And so let me tell you what we're going to do. In a moment, we're going to break for our Seder meals. And if you are planning to eat dinner now, this is a great time to eat dinner. If you're not eating dinner now, or if you're waiting till later, that's completely fine. The time is now just a little bit after 7. And I think what we're going to do, let's reconvene at 7:40. 7:40. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the Zoom meeting open. So I see some of you are eating already. That's wonderful. I would love for all of us to sort of eat in each other's presence. And so feel free to leave your video open or not if you prefer to stop your video, even if you prefer to click out of the meeting and then to come back. So at about 7:40, we're going to come back and we will continue with the after the meal part of our Seder. I do encourage you to please come back. For the after the meal part of the Seder. It's wonderful to get to conclude our 4 cups. Now, I will say, if you are in a house, Benji, that's pretty impressive there. If you are in a house that has children under the age of bar and bat mitzvah, you may notice that your afikomen, that half piece of matzah that we broke earlier, may go missing. If your afikomen goes missing at any point during the meal, remember, we cannot conclude our Seder until all of the afikomens have been found in their several houses. And so let's aim also for all of the afikomens to be found when we reconvene, when we come back together at 7:40. And so with that, we say, B'te'avon, please everyone enjoy your Seder meals, and we will see you. We'll see you when you get back. Okay, 7:40. See you soon. Are we all here? Did we make it?
We're working on it. We're working on it.
Okay.
Glad you're back. You made it okay?
Sorry about that, everyone. I think we we flew too close to the sun. Everything was going swimmingly, and then we tried to put that countdown timer video on to bring us back from the meal, and that turned out to be the straw that broke the camel's back. That was one technological show-offy thing that I should have known we didn't need. So I am sorry about that.
We're all back just fine. You know, I actually had said in a clergy chat group earlier in the week, what if on the nights of Seders there were so many people online, we crashed the internet all over the world? And then someone reminded us that the Jewish community around the world is just not large enough to really be a problem for the internet.
Right. No, I think that was just myself being a problem for us. But I'm glad we're back. We're here. All of you are here. I'm looking.
We asked folks to take one last minute to find the afikomen.
Good.
They hadn't yet. And if they've got it, to be ready to show it so that we can check and make sure we're ready to go on.
Okay. Our captioning is about to come back live, and so if you signed out of the meeting to eat and have now signed back into the meeting, if you would like to have the closed captions, you have that option in the options menu at the bottom or at the top of your screen. All right, should we see some afikomens? What do you think, Rabbi? All right, yes, good. The Hammons have their afikomens. I see other people holding up the afikomen. Did anybody find a hidden afikomen? Do you want to? Did anyone have to go looking? Ben Strauss, I see you. You had to go looking. You had to find your afikomen in the horns. I can't see if that's Emma or Lily. I only see the top of a head. Ah, hello. There she is. Good job. Good job finding the afikomen. Excellent. Good. Well, I trust that all of the afikomens were found, and thus we can continue with the rituals of our Seder. And the first thing that we do when we come back from the meal, and it was lovely, all of you who kept your cameras running so that we could, feel like we were sitting with you and sharing our Seder meal. That was really, really nice. And so thank you. And then the very first thing we do in the second part of our Seder is we give thanks. Birkat HaMazon is our Jewish tradition, for after every meal, although maybe not many of us have that custom of saying Birkat HaMazon after every meal, but especially after these ceremonial meals, these special festive meals, when we are indeed so grateful for having food to eat, maybe especially this year for having food to eat and being able to share it together. We say these words of praise and of thanks. And so Cantor is going to lead us. But again, for the parts that we sing, for the parts that we chant, I invite you to please participate from wherever you are. And so let's, now I'm very shy about the screen sharing now, but hopefully this will work. And Cantor, whenever you're ready.
Shir Amalok B'Shuv Adonai Et Shivat Zion Hayinu Kachomim Az Yimales Chokinu Ulshonenu Rina Az Yomru V'Hagoyim Higdil Adonai Lasoti Melech Higdil Adonai Lasot Imanu Hayinu Semechim Shuva Adonai Eshivitenu Ka'afikim Ba'negev Azorim Bedima Berina Yiksoru Haloch Yelechu V'achol No semeshech hazara, boya virina, no se alumotav. Chaverim v'chaveronim arech, yehi shem Adonai v'rach me'atah ve'ad olam, yehi shem Adonai v'rach me'atah ve'ad olam. B'shut hechevra nevarech shachanu mishelo, baruch shachanu mishelo, u'b'shuvo chayinu. Baruch shachanu mishelo, u'b'shuvo chayinu. Baruch hu baruch shemo. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam. Hazan et ha'olam kulo b'tumo v'chen v'chesed u'vrachamim. Hu noten lechem l'chol basar ki le'olam chasdo. U'tumo gadol tamid lo chasar lanu ve'al yachsar lanu mazon le'olam va'ed. Ba'avur shemo hagadol, ki uzan u'farnes la'kol, lo mitiv la'kol, lo mechin mazon, le'chol briotav asher bara, baruch atah Adonai, ha'azan et hakol. Kakatu v'achalta v'samata u'verafta, Et Adonai Elohecha al haaretz hatova asher natan lach, baruch atah Adonai al haaretz ve'al hamazon, u'bnei Yerushalayim v'hakodesh v'mehara v'yameinu, baruch atah Adonai boneh berachamav Yerushalayim, amen. Harachaman hu yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, amen. Harachaman hu yibarach b'shamayim u'ba'aretz, amen. Harachaman hu yishlach bracha meruba b'bayit hazeh, ve'al shulchan zeh she'achanu alav, amen. Harachaman yishlach lanu et Eliyahu hanavi tzachon latova rachaman yishlach lanu et Eliyahu hanavi tzachon latov v'vaser lanu v'soron tovot yeshuot hanechamot. Harachaman v'chalenu yom shekulo tov, amen. עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום.
Amen. And to translate just a small part of that small blessing, or that a small part of that long blessing, blessed are you, Adonai, who sustains everyone and everything, who provides all of our sustenance. And we come now to the third cup of wine. And so I invite you to refill your wine glass with wine or with grape juice. And we say, as we drink the third cup of wine, we celebrate the holy bonds between family and friends, and our sacred connection to all men, women, and children of every religion, race, and creed. May the goodwill in each of us draw us closer to one another, strengthening the ties between us, so we may help each other through hard times, as well as joyously celebrate good times together. And in that spirit, let us bless. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. L'chaim. We are joined tonight by many special people and teachers in our community. But for a moment, we particularly want to recognize our Kol Dorot educator, Anat Katsir. Anat, can we hear you?
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
We can. There she is.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I get to say hello to everybody and enjoy your Seders, and also tell you tonight a little bit about Elijah. Some of you, I'm hoping a few of you have an Elijah's cup on your table. If you do, you can bring it up and show it to us. Your Elijah's cup. Another cup doesn't belong to Miriam. It doesn't belong to any of the people sitting at the table. And a cup that's filled with wine or grape juice that you have on your table. But who is this mysterious Elijah that we keep a cup for and that we are waiting to join us in the Seder today? Elijah is one of our prophets, a very special one, actually. Elijah is a prophet that is said to visit every Seder, every family, every group that is sitting and celebrating Passover in the same night. And he comes, and we don't always get to see him. We don't always notice that he's there, but he visits us. And that's why we have a special cup for him on our table. Elijah is a prophet that symbolizes a lot of the goodness in our tradition. He symbolizes taking care of those in need. He took care of those that were oppressed by an evil king. He is there for those who need support. He is there for those who need us in any kind of help. Elijah is sent to redeem them. Elijah is also a symbol of our future, because when we sing for Elijah, we also sing for a beautiful future that has nothing evil in it, that is all goodness, and it's all good people doing good things for each other and people living in peace. And so Elijah symbolizes that, which is one of the reasons that when we call for Elijah, it is our kids that go to visit Elijah, that go to invite Elijah to join us. So actually, at this point in the Seder, in order to make sure that Elijah can come in, because we'd like to make sure he knows that he's invited into our homes, we invite our kids to open the door for Elijah. And so if you have a door that you can open just a crack, doesn't have to stay fully open, but even open it up and call Elijah in to make sure he has a chance to come in. So you can go and open a door and invite Elijah. So why don't you go and do that? If you have anybody in your house that can go to the door and invite Elijah over. What do you think? Did you call him out?
Cold.
Come on, Elijah. Come on. Okay. So I hope that in every one of your Seders, Elijah gets to join. And oh my gosh, I don't know if you're seeing this. This has never happened to us before, but I think Elijah joined our Zoom. Can you see him? Can you see Elijah? I think, yeah, it says Elijah right there. Oh my gosh, we can't hear him yet, but I can see Elijah. Elijah, I can't hear you.
Oh, shalom! Shalom, Kol Dorot! What a beautiful Seder! Oh, I have been, Anat, I've been traveling, from Seder to Seder. You have no idea. All over the world, time zones. Just the amount of wine. If you only drink a little at every Seder, I'm gonna feel it tomorrow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for getting all of your Seders all here in the same place. Oh, this makes it so much easier for Elijah. I don't have to visit all of your separate houses. I can visit you here all at once. Now, my friends.
So great that you're here with us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I heard something about wine. Do you have wine for Elijah? Point at your wine for Elijah. All right, none of those had better not be empty glasses. If anyone is pointing at an empty glass right now, I know where you live. Elijah, no, Elijah jokes, but Elijah does do one serious thing that we read in the book of the prophet Malachi. God says, I will send you Elijah the prophet. And Elijah the prophet will turn the hearts of the parents to their children, and the hearts of the children to their parents. And so if there are any parents here at this Seder, if there are any children here at this Seder, I want you to take a moment to think about your parents and your children. And then I want you to think farther back, because Elijah has been doing this for a long time. Elijah has visited a lot of Seders, and so I want you to think about your grandparents and your great-grandparents, and think about what their Seder might have looked like. I mean, I know I was there, but I want you to imagine. And then think what they would think, generations and generations back, if they could see all of us here tonight. I think they'd be pretty excited. I think it would be pretty amazing to imagine that all of us from our houses and all around the country could celebrate Passover. Mazel tov to you. Good work. Now, my theme song. Is there a cantor?
All right. Oh, I'm ready. Here's your theme song, Elijah. Everyone join me. Sing for Elijah. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Bimera v'yamenu, Yavo Eleinu. Im Mashiach ben David, Im Mashiach ben David, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi.
Thank you, cantor. Oh, did I miss anything?
Welcome back, Rabbi.
Okay, thank you. Whew. Well, we're approaching the end of our Seder, but we did want to make sure that we created at least one more. Yes, I know Jerusalem is still behind me. Everyone, everyone's a critic. We did want to create one more opportunity for us to break out into some small groups so that you can hear each other's voices. And so what I'd like us to do in a moment, we will divide again into our breakout groups. They won't be the same groups. And I'm sorry, I wish that I could keep families together better than I can. I think the numbers are just a little bit beyond me. But what we're going to do is in your breakout group, I'm going to ask you to talk about this extraordinary moment. Now, we're all living through something that has never been experienced before, and by anyone's families and by our Jewish families. And one of the things that I've been thinking a lot about is we're about to say, in a few moments, we're going to end the Seder, and we're going to say next year in Jerusalem, and we're going to think about the future and next year and what comes next. And I've been thinking a lot about, well, what does next year look like? What do I want to take from this experience that we're all having and make sure that I hold on to and remember even when life goes back to a different kind of normal? And what are the things that I want to leave behind? What are the challenges that we're going to really have to heal from in order to move forward from what we're experiencing right now? So that's the question that's going to be for all of you in your breakout rooms. When we move on from this, when next year's Seder, when we're sitting, God willing, all around one big table, or many tables in one big room. It's a really big table, I know. What is it that we want to carry with us from this experience? And what is it that we hope we've healed from and left behind? So I am now inviting you into those breakout rooms. And we'll take about 5 minutes to, or maybe even a little bit more, to have that discussion. Okay. Now I see some of you are still with us here in the main room. For some of those are just the second devices of some people. But it's all right if you don't feel like joining the breakout room or can't figure it out at this moment. That's okay too. And even in here, we could spend a moment talking about what we hope to carry with us from these weeks and from this experience. Cantor, I see you've moved locations.
I did. Both of the kids are in bed or on their way to bed.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I have more room suddenly.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anybody who's in here who's still in this main room who'd like to comment on that question of what you'd like to make sure that you remember and take with you? You may have to wave it. I don't know if you can unmute yourselves in this room, so you may have to wave me down. Ah. So I see that it sounds like the Bloomkeys went to an empty breakout room, which don't you're unmuted. Don't take it personally.
Technology is helps us in sometimes, and we make do with it. I actually think that's one of the pieces that I'll take with me from this whole experience is the opportunity that technology provides for us and what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the big questions. You know, we said that, you know, next year, next year's Seder, we're all going to be, sitting around tables all in. But I think, I think Rabbi, you said this. I don't know if maybe it was earlier today at our Passover, at our festival service. It's hard to imagine that this time next year we won't have some kind of virtual Seder. Having now gotten a chance to see, what this looks like and what it can do.
And have all the in-laws all in one place, all at the same time. Everybody all at once, no matter how far apart we may be or geographically dispersed we are.
Yeah, I mean, even on this one screen that I can see all at the same time, I see multiple horns. I see parts of the Lashinskys from all over the place. Hi guys, and a Harwin from my family from Florida. Like, so this would be hard to do, and any other way. So what do you think? Should we start to bring them back? Okay, I'm gonna give everybody the 1 minute warning, and hopefully that will bring everybody back. This is the Okay, welcome back everyone. As all of you who are making your way back from the breakout rooms.
As you make your way back and as we wait for everyone to come back, some of them were farther down the hall. It takes them longer to come back to the main room. But if you'll prepare, we're about to do our fourth and final cup of wine. So if you need a little bit, make sure that you have that ready. I see our numbers are going back up. We should be just about everybody ready.
Yes, I think our breakout rooms just closed, so I think we now have everybody back with us.
Great. So if you would take a fourth cup and be ready for our fourth and final Kiddush. Hold up your Kiddush cup. It's actually fascinating to see. Some are just wine cups, wine glasses that we may have, but others may have special importance for us. A Kiddush cup from Israel, or that we got when we became bar bat mitzvah, or was a wedding present, or some such else. My cup actually was for my consecration and has the dates of consecration and bar mitzvah and confirmation and high school graduation and rabbinic school ordination all on one Kiddush cup, as a little bit of history and family heirloom for us there, right? Excellent. Now we remember God's promise to our ancestors and to every generation. I will take you to be my people and I will be your God. We dedicate the fourth cup of wine to shalom, to peace. May the one who broke Pharaoh's yoke forever shatter all fetters of oppression. Ears into pruning hooks. And why don't we say together, each in our own homes, may the state of Israel, all peoples in the Middle East and peoples of every religion, race, and creed throughout the world soon experience the blessings of peace. May God be gracious to us and dispel the darkness of ignorance and prejudice from all peoples. May our country be a beacon of liberty and justice for all peoples. May we all be blessed with peace and freedom to be kept safe from danger everywhere. Together, let us raise the fourth cup of wine and join together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Oh, this is the, okay, it's still to me, great. So we thought, how many of you at your home Seders, when we come to the end of the Seder night, conclude with singing Chad Gad Ya? Raise your hand if you know the song Chad Gad Ya. And how many of you have some family tradition of a game of one kind or another? Does anybody play a game with Chad Gad Ya? In our family, and at our Seders, we pass out the parts. You're gonna be the dog, you're gonna be the cat, you're gonna be the ox, you're gonna be the angel of death. And when that person's name is mentioned in the song, we pause the song to make some noise that represents that. Cantor Sarah was telling us that in some families, instead of saying the words of then came the cat, then came the dog, they substitute the animal noises themselves. Given that we have lots of different interpretations of this old song, we thought tonight we're just going to hear it sung as Cantor Sarah sings it. But if you have customs and traditions in your own home, go ahead and add those in. Feel free, feel festive as we join in this fun Seder game of Chad Gad Ya.
Just have to wait for the screen. All right, here we go. Join with me. Chad Gad Ya, Chad Gad Ya. My father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gad Ya, Chad Gad Ya. Then came the cat and ate the kid. My father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gad Ya, Chad Gad Ya. Then came the dog and bit the cat that ate the kid. My father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gad Ya, Chad Gad Ya. Then came the stick and beat the dog that bit the cat that ate the kid. My father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gad Ya, Chad Gad Ya. Then came the fire and burned the stick that beat the dog that bit the cat that ate the kid. My father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gad Ya, Chad Gad Ya. Then came the water and quenched the fire that burned the stick that beat the dog that bit the cat that ate the kid. My father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gad Ya, Chad Gad Ya. Then came the ox and drank the water that quenched the fire that burned the stick that beat the dog that bit the cat that ate the kid. My father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gad Ya, Chad Gad Ya. Then came the butcher and killed the ox that drank the water that quenched the fire that burned the stick that beat the dog that bit the cat that ate the kid. My father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gad Ya, Chad Gad Ya. Then came the angel of death and slew the butcher and killed the ox that drank the water that quenched the fire that burned the stick that beat the dog that bit the cat that ate the kid. My father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gad Ya, Chad Gad Ya. Then came the Holy One, blessed be God, and destroyed the angel of death that slew the butcher that killed the fox. The ox that drank the water that quenched the fire that burned the stick that beat the dog that bit the cat that ate the kid. My father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gad Ya, Chad Gad Ya. Yeah, nice job, everyone. That was good.
Well, I'm glad we have that all recorded. That's really good. That's now permanent, and we'll be sure to put that right on the internet. We have but one duty left to perform in fulfilling the obligations of the Seder night, and it comes up only in the second night Seder and not in the first, and that is because from the second night, from the second day of Passover, we have already begun to count Sfirat HaOmer, the counting of the Omer, 49 days, 7 weeks of 7 days, and then the 50th day is Shavuot. And the counting of the Omer takes us on a journey from Passover, day by day, step by step, to Shavuot, to our harvest festival of the spring. And it is customary each night of the Omer to say a blessing, and literally to count what day we are on in that journey. And I think, what year more appropriate than this year, when we are so aware of the passage of the days, when we're looking ahead, where will we be at the beginning of June when Shavuot arrives, and we can think about how our journey will unfold from here to there. And as Jews, we have a ritual to carry us, to bring us through those days, and it is the counting of the Omer. And so, Cantor, would you lead us in the blessing?
Absolutely.
There's no slide.
Oh, okay. I have to remember the melody. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al spirat haomer.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who makes us holy with commandments and commands us to count the Omer.
Hayom yom echad la'omer.
This is an easy one. Today is the first day of the Omer. So now, in a moment, we will say together, Bashana Haba'a Birushalayim, next year in Jerusalem. Now, when we say that, we're actually talking about the Messiah. We hope that Elijah the prophet, between this Passover and next Passover, we hope that Elijah the prophet will come. He's a handsome guy, I've heard. We do hope that he will come, but most importantly, to herald the coming of the Messiah that might bring us all to Jerusalem for next Passover. I think for us, we could have maybe a slightly less lofty goal. We could just say that we hope that when we gather next year for Passover, right, that we will have moved on from this moment in our lives and in our history. And I want you to sort of think about all those things you were just talking about in your prayers. All the things that we hope to carry with us, all the things we hope to leave behind, all of the journey that we hope to take between this year and next year, as we join together in saying, next year in Jerusalem, Lashana Haba'a Birushalayim. And actually, we haven't done it, but here we are at the very end of our Seder, and I'm gonna unmute everyone. Let's see if it's even possible for us to say Lashana Haba'a Birushalayim. Let's try it. Here we go. Lashana Haba'a Birushalayim. Oh, Chag Sameach.
Shelly.
Hey, this was great. Great.
Simon family.
Down here, Jackie.
Stay safe.
Shelly.
FaceTime.
Shelly.
Well, everyone. Hello.
Thank you, Irene.
That was wonderful. That was very
Shelly.
We could leave.
All right. Good night. Good night, everyone. Good night. Chag Sameach.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Good night.
Elijah.